Our Driven CRM Basic Sales training for today. Today we're going to be covering creating proposals and quotes within Driven, adding line items to them and modifying them, discounting, getting shipping estimates, and converting a quote to a sales order. From the sales order step forward, we have another webinar called Order Processing that you're more than welcome to attend after this as well. My schedule is on our training calendar. Again, like our other webinars, this is a listen-only webinar. However, inside of your GoToWebinar panel, there is a feature for you to be able to type and ask questions, and I will try to pause periodically and answer as many of those as I can. Some of the basic principles that apply within Driven, which you should already be familiar with, are the concept between a lead and a qualified CRM contact. That's one of the first things that we'll look at here today. We have a separate quarantined leads database within Driven, and then a CRM contact qualified area. So one of the prerequisites for someone being able to receive a quote or place an order is that they must have been promoted out of the leads database into the qualified area. Not necessarily qualified as a customer, but at least in this area could be a prospect. But you cannot send a quote or proposal to someone who is still in the leads database. So that's our first prerequisite there. Typically, more than likely in a sales environment, what you're going to be doing is accessing that customer's account first. So let's work with today a customer called Bill's Construction. I want to go ahead and send a proposal to them. So I'm going to find their account, be it looking through this just general sales qualified, or another way to search for accounts within Driven is to type up in the top here. And this is a quick, easy way that will search all of the areas of Driven to show you any possible matches. So as I type things here, I've got Bill's Construction. He must be part of he's Bill Jones. Okay. So Bill Jones there is under the Universal Studios account, but his main individual company name is Bill's Construction. So in this case, in this environment potentially, Bill's Construction could be the general contractor or subcontractor for that customer file. And so please be aware when you're searching for things within Driven that it is possible to have multiple contacts under one customer account. This customer account information is what is going to get invoiced to in QuickBooks. So right now, as I'm working with this account, I'm able to see all the detail of it. It's ship to address. It's bill to address. Okay, so 5 Main Street's a bill to. No ship to address currently. And then I have my construction site address here as well. So the very first thing I'll do once I've accessed this account is choose to create a new proposal or sales order over here on the left-hand side of the screen. So I click on that option, and I'm asked which contact at that particular company I'm working with, because a quote within Driven is always connected to a contact. So in this case, we're going to associate this to Bill Jones. All right. And we're able to put on a brief description to this quote or proposal. And this is used for ease of looking things up later and or can potentially print on the top of your proposals or quotes going out if you'd like for it to. We'll call this the test quote. Okay. So we'll type our description in there. I'm able to choose who the sales rep is for this order. Now I'm logged in as Barb Fiddler. If we go back to my main screen here, we see who I'm logged in as. However, this proposal that I'm creating got created with a sales rep of Jen Sherwood because Jen is the sales rep on this customer's account. And so by default, it is going to assign the rep on this order as whoever is the rep specified on the account. Now, if there is no rep specified on the account, then it will default to whoever is the person who is logged in placing the proposal. I also have the opportunity to override that at any time. Anybody who's marked with a sales role within Driven, which my login must not have that role assigned to it, would show up in this drop-down list here. So that means in my employee setup, I do not have the sales role assigned to me. That's why my name does not show up as a potential sales rep. Okay, so I would need to modify that, correct that first before I can get credit for this order. All right. Now, marketing campaign that might be linked to or associated to this order is going to be used for potentially two different things. One is sales tracking. So this customer initially heard about me from the Tampa trade show, and any revenue that gets generated as a result of this order would be credited to the Tampa trade show. I can see how much income I've created based on that marketing campaign. We also have other marketing campaigns in the drop-down list here. I can change this. Maybe I have, my January special is still in effect. That particular marketing campaign can offer some discounting potential within Driven, depending upon how the rules of it are set up. So please be aware that marketing campaigns, as they're linked to orders, are used to track revenue and potentially discount orders in this case. If a customer were to give you a purchase order number immediately, they were to say, yes, I'm ready to order this, here's my PO number, you can enter that right away. But this is an optional field for now that can be left blank. My tax code got set based on, again, whatever my account was set to. I am set to have to pay sales tax. Bill's Construction is going to get charged sales tax on this order. Being QuickBooks users, QuickBooks customers, you will only ever, by the way, need to worry about tax code 1, so you'll never need to put anything into that tax code 2. Next option for us is our shipping method, preferred shipping method on this order. How does the customer want this delivered? Let's say this one's going to be via UPS. And on my right-hand side over here, I'm shown my default ship-to address for this company. Now, I have options in here for populating the ship-to address because I can say, okay, since it's blank, go ahead and put the account bill-to address in here. Or this individual, as in Bill's, contact address. Maybe he's in an off-site address. He can have a different address as well. So that information gets put into there, populated automatically. And I save this. Now, this is what I refer to kind of as the header information for the proposal. This is that top half of who's your rep, how do you want it shipped, all that kind of information is all set up in here. Let me now go ahead and save and create this, and then I begin actually adding my line items to the order. So the first thing that I do, I have the ability to search really quickly in here, or I can go look through what we call item research, which is my whole search screen. It's a little bit easier, a little bit more flexible as far as looking for things and adding multiple line items at the same time. So here I am shown my whole item list. I have 27 items in my database right now. And I can say, okay, I want to go sell her one of the new coin combo packages. This particular item, as it's been set up on my item setup screen, is set to be one of QuickBooks' group items. And this particular item is comprised of one of my PS64s and 3 of my PS67 part numbers. So this is a QuickBooks group. In order to add it to the proposal for this customer, I simply put in a quantity. I can leave my quantity at 1 if I'd like to for this one, and pick Save Item to Order. That's been successfully put on there, and I can add other items in here. Now, when I'm looking through my inventory research screen there up at the top, I have the capability to search for things. So let's say I want to search for everything in a certain category. Maybe I have a category it's called hardware, or in this case, as you see, I have one called general product. So here is everything in my general product part number. So I have a custom build item. When I click on that particular item, I'm going to see that that item has the ability for me to add parts to it as well, but I would have the capability to change those. They don't want 3 of the coin boxes in this case. They only want 1. And they want 2 sets here. So I can save that item to the order as well. And last but not least, let's add just a regular plain old item. I'm still adding multiple items to this order. as I click on my black fabric item up at the top here, I'm going to be able to see that this item is out of stock until March 1st. That is a special alert message that has been put on this part number for you guys to see. Okay. Also, this particular item, down towards the bottom, has some automatic discounts that are able to be applied. Now, bad example because this one doesn't have what we call a base price or a retail price on here. My base price is set to 0 right now, so obviously any volume discounts are going to be set to 0 as well. But it would have the capability to say, okay, if you buy 5 of this item, you get it at this discounted price. If you purchase 10, you get it at a different discounted price. And all I have to do to get those discounts is enter the proper quantity. So if I enter 10 of this black print fabric, save that item to the order, it is automatically going to apply that discounted price. Now, I believe I want to show you how that, I think maybe my keyboard was on special in my January marketing campaign. No, okay. We'll just go ahead and add 2 keyboards there as well. Now, as I've added all of my items to that order, if that's everything that I need to put together on this particular proposal here, I've been adding line items in the bottom section here and saving them to the order. When I'm ready to go back to the main proposal, I'm going to push the Return to Order button up at the top here, and that is going to show me all of my particular parts that I have added to this proposal for this customer. So I would be able to see, okay, Mr. Customer, your current total is $1,163.57, including tax. Okay. I am also, if I have the proper access roles, able to see the cost and the profit margin on that item. So I'm able to see that this item cost me $7.50 and I'm selling it for nothing. So I've obviously got a 0% profit margin on that line item. Now, let's go ahead just from a basic perspective and say, as a salesperson, I am ready to present this to my client. So I need to go ahead and give them a copy of it, see what it's going to look like. Up at the top of my screen here, I pick which of my forms I want to be able to show to the customer. Okay, and there are some standard ones that come with the system. So I have, for instance, my quote or sales order with fulfillment options. And if I choose that form, and then I'm going to choose to either print it, which opens as a PDF on your screen, and you can print or fax it or do whatever you want to it from there, save it and attach it, whatever. Or I can directly email it to the client, which saves it as an attachment automatically and starts me an email message from Driven. So first, let's kind of preview it. I want to take a look at it. So I choose the printer icon. That puts everything into a PDF form for me, opens it up, and shows to me on screen here. So I widen this out. It's got all of my company information. This was based on my company setup when I put the logo in there and when I filled in my company address, my fax number, my website, my things like that. Okay. It has the customer's account number on it automatically, the proposal or quote number that I created for them, customer's bill to address and ship to address, whatever information I had put in here as far as terms, you know, what their payment terms are, also how this order is going to be shipped, and the fact that this is coming from which warehouse, my California warehouse. This center section here, guys, really the whole thing, is all controlled by which form I chose. So different information can appear depending upon which of these layouts you chose. Right now, this is what this one looks like. If I don't care for this one, this is not the one that I want to send to the customer, what I'm going to do is X out of this particular form, gets me back to my main quote screen here, and I can pick a different one. Let's go with the standard template number 1. And if I hit my printer icon again now, I'm going to get a different layout or a different look. Okay. This one has customer number over here in the middle and no warehouse information. Okay. So totally up to you guys and some flexibility on how you want these to look and appear. Once you have gotten the one that you like, you can either directly print it from here, from this PDF screen, or save it as a local attachment on your computer here, or fax it, or do whatever you need to with it from this screen, from the printer screen. But I want to email it to the client. So I'm again closing that window, and now I'm going to hit the email information because my same form is still chosen. So I'm going to email using that form or that layout. When I choose that email button, now what happens is it saved that as a PDF attachment. I can preview it again here if I'd like to. It started me an email communication within Driven, put in that customer's email address automatically, and titled my subject as proposal and the proposal number. So I would be able to say, you know, here's the quote we talked about. Call me when you're ready to order. And I would hit the send email button. That's going to send that email with that attachment to that client and prompt me if I'd like to set a follow-up. So do I need to call him back in a week and see if he had any questions? So let me go ahead and say that I want to set a call back for middle of next week and see if he is ready to order. And I will save that. So now that particular proposal has been sent out to the client. I'm going to push the Save Changes button, and that gets me back to my main Driven screen and closes all that out. So that is now one of my existing, if I go back to my Items workspace, I have that particular workspace set to show me all my quotes and sales orders. Now, unfortunately, I am not the sales rep on that particular account, so it is not going to show up here in the list that are quotes that are assigned to me. So if I want to go back and update that particular proposal, one of two ways to get to it. One is to find that customer again, so I'm going to go look up Bill. There he is, Bill Jones. And if I look at his sales and purchasing menu at the top of the screen, I'm going to be able to see all proposals and past orders ever for this particular account. So if I need to go make a change to this, Bill called back and said, you know, that he doesn't want one of the items or he doesn't like the price on something. I need to go in and make a change to this. I'm going to do that by double-clicking on the quote right here. It's going to pull it up on screen and give me the opportunity to make some changes. So Bill does not want the these 3 coin boxes here. So in order to take them off, I can hit the delete button over here because this is not an actual order or anything that's been invoiced. So I can remove anything from this proposal that I would like to. Okay. I also want to take off the black print fabric because obviously I shouldn't be selling it. It's a zero cost item, zero priced item. I'm not making any money on it. I actually went negative. So I've modified those 2 items on there. I'm now going to print it again. So this time I want to print it with maybe template number 2, different look for that one. See what that looks like. Okay, totally different layout again. So for that one, it's got not the boxes around it, it's a more open layout and look. So a lot of flexibility, like I said, for the kind of form that you're looking at. Now, so we talked about being able to delete an item that is already on there. How about if I need to actually modify a price on something? So as an example, this item here that I have that has no cost, it's selling at $12.50. I want to go ahead and offer them a discount. Okay. I could open that item up, except that I switched screens there on you. I can open that particular item up by double-clicking on it. So if I want to make a change to that particular item itself, I double-click on it. And I have a lot of flexibility and options here. I can come in here and change the quantity that were on the order. I can make it 3 or, totally remove them, whatever I want to do with it. I also, if I have the proper role, would have the ability to override the price that's in here. So I can come in here and say, I want to manually price this item at $15. I'm going to go up on the price to them. And then I'm going to also offer them a discount. So I'm going to give them 20% off. And when I save that item to the order, now that particular coin box is going to be set at a price of $15 with a discount of $3. So a total of $12.84. So now my profit margin on that one's 33%. And depending, again, upon the template that I choose, that discount may or may not show to the client. So in this case, the client's going to be able to see, okay, price went up, it was $15, but my total end price was only $12.84 because I received a package discount of $3. Okay. So there's quite a bit of flexibility in discounting items for you. I'm going to save this one more time because I want to show you what I mean about that particular marketing campaign doing some discounting as well. So I'm going to go in and see how that marketing campaign was set up. Let me go look at my marketing workspace. So we'll add all my active marketing campaigns to this one. And we'll see how that particular January special is supposed to be working. Description. And when I open up my January special offer, that particular marketing campaign, it was an email broadcast. It wasn't a discount. Okay. So I do know that I have a 10% off promo for the month of January marketing campaign. Now that particular campaign is set to only be valid to January 31st. So no discounts, even if I choose it after the 31st, will automatically apply. So let me actually go in here and date this to where we can use this as a discount. And the way that this particular one works is this is going to apply a discount percentage off of a category of product. So I will get 10% off anything in the general product category if this marketing campaign is linked to an order. Okay. Or I have the ability to go in and specifically manually price items here. Okay. So we'll save the changes on this marketing campaign, and then I want to go actually use it and show you how that discount's going to apply itself automatically. So we'll go back and find Bill Jones. Oh, he's still open. Bottom of my screen, still got Bill Jones open. Want to modify his quote again, just double-click on it there. And instead of my campaign being my January special offer, I'm going to change that to my 10% off promo for January. So now, if I go back to item research, I'm going to be able to see things in my primary category for general product. Again, okay. I have an interface kit that sells normally for $50. When I click on that one, I'm going to see now that the price for that particular product is no longer $50, but $38.25. Because I am getting a 10% discount off of that item because it is linked to that particular category and I have that marketing campaign applying. So if I purchase one of these interface kits, boom, there we go. I can save that back to my order, return to my order. And now my new interface kit is there at $38.25. Okay. Now, the new interface kit, as you noticed, has a note on it, or what we call a comment, that says interface kit includes the following 2 parts, 2 coin boxes. Okay, that was manually typed in when that part was created as part of what we call the sales description. I still have the flexibility, though, to be able to modify that. So I can double-click on that interface kit again, and down here where it says line comments, I can add additional things. So please note 10% discount on item for January special promotion. So that particular comment and note is specific to this item for this order. And when I, again, go back to my standard template number 2, if that's the form I like and I want to send, when I choose to print that, that is going to be displayed as part of my notes here. So interface kit includes the following parts, 2 coin boxes, please note 10% discount. I see Sage has a question here. If the interface kit is $50, how does it go down to 10%? Would be $45. Yes, I do also believe that I have another discount applying to that automatically as well, Sage, because you have the capability not only to do marketing campaign discounts, but to do what we call price level discounts and to be able to do quantity break discounts. So that particular part number, let's go here into my inventory research and look up my interface kit. This is also my testing database, so I have a tendency to do a lot of strange things to my part numbers and cause myself pricing problems. But if I look at this particular part number, it is also established to have a price level with a discount off of retail prices. So if I have this customer, which let's go check this, it's possible that my Universal Studios account is set to use a specific price level. Okay, so if I scroll down to the bottom here, my screen will update. They're set to use price level 1. It might be, it is also possible, Sage, so let me look there. The other thing I'd want to see about this is it is set to have related products associated to it that are going to have prices associated to them as well. So it's an assembly. It's possible that it's totaling up the prices of the item inside of it for the assembly. Yes, Sage, there can be many different ways to discount items within Driven. So a lot of flexibility for you there. You can give a global discount % off a customer. You can set price levels to different customers. You can also set quantity breaks and discounts based on marketing campaigns. So a lot of flexibility in the discounting options for Driven. Basically, any way you want to slice it, there's probably a way to set it up in Driven to make it priced like that for you. And then as a last resort, you also, as I mentioned, still have that capability to open up the line item itself and offer a direct discount to that item. I want to give you another 10% off of this particular line item. Nice guy discount. Okay. Have that flexibility as well. Now, let's talk now a little bit more about modifying this proposal further, and that is I have all the line items on here like I want, but maybe I want to rearrange the order of them a little bit. I want this custom interface kit to be at the top of what this customer sees. It was the very first thing we talked about. I want it to show up on the top of the screen. So I'm going to pick up this new interface kit item and drag it to the top. And you can see kind of my dotted line behind that item is going to show where it's going to place itself. So if I let go there, now my new interface kit is the very first line item that this customer is going to see. If I hit print again, here we go, and it is now my first line item. Okay. So hard to see there, but it's right in there. Okay. Oh, and I closed using the wrong screen. Let's go back to that. Now, the one other thing that we have not talked about with regards to this proposal is the ability for you to get a shipping estimate, okay, based upon the ship to address of where this is going. By the way, I don't know if this is a real address, so let me put a real address in here. That is a real address, okay. We'll save that. We'll come back in here now and get a shipping estimate. So I know that I want to ship this to the customer via UPS because I mentioned that in my shipping settings. Okay, I'm supposed to ship it via UPS. I want to get an estimate of how much that's going to cost. And that will take my company address, where it's going to ship to as the customer's address, and the weight of all of the items in here, and go out and get a real-time shipping estimate for how much it will cost you to send this package. Okay, so it's showing you right here, right now, that box 1 is a cubic size of this. Okay, here are all the items placed inside of different boxes. Okay, and it will show me, okay, the U.S. Postal Service priority mail is $5.10. UPS ground would be $11.13. FedEx ground is going to be $7.86. So I'm able to offer real time to the client all of these different options. So I can ask Bill while I'm on the phone with him, hey Bill, here's how much FedEx is. Do you want to use them instead? Okay. And if he were to choose that, all I would have to do is click on that item and say apply selection. That will automatically add that FedEx shipping line item to this order and input the items from this order that were included in that estimate. So I would know, okay, that includes all of these line items, and it's going to be $7.86. Okay. So now it is a line item on the order just like anything else. So if I save and print this again, oops, now I'm printing with a packing list. That's what a packing list looks like, guys, by the way. Close that up. Let's use the template number 3, which we haven't seen yet. Okay. That one looks like this. Okay, so here are my line items there. My very last line item is my FedEx ground shipment and how much that's going to be. So now I can send that off to the customer as well. So a lot of flexibility for you there as far as adding new line items, modifying line items. We haven't talked about changing a couple of other things on the lines themselves, and those are having to do with this warehouse feature and with being able to modify the description of the part number. So let's say that this particular keyboard, I don't have any of these. I can see in my California warehouse I don't have any available. Let's go back to my default warehouse. If I have 2 actual locations set up in Driven as warehouses, I can fulfill things and receive things out of either warehouse. So this one's going to come out of my default warehouse, and I need to change the description on it because it's slightly different when it comes out of Florida. So I'll double-click on that part number again, and I will change the keyboard description. So I can say Special Florida Keyboard. Now, me changing this here does not permanently change the description of the part number moving forward. Okay? So all it does is simply say, see, I have one of those in my Florida warehouse. or I'm sorry, that says -1. Oops. I can still put it on the quote, though. So that just changes the description on this line item for this order for this customer only. Okay? And I save and return that to the order. So now that one's coming out of the default warehouse, special Florida keyboard, and I can print that off to the client. Other options for you here within the quote and proposal itself would be for you to be able to add additional information here. The ordering phase up at the top here controls what kind of functions are available to you within Driven, and this is a Driven feature to be able to move this along in your steps or your processes. Okay, so to us, the quotation or proposal means simply it's a quote or proposal you're sending out to the client. You know, it can stay in that status for as long as you like. The next step in the process is to mark it pending approval if you would like to use that. Typically, that means that it is a commitment from the customer that they'd like to purchase it, maybe if they can get terms, or if you approve the discount that they want to do, or something like that. But it's more serious than a quote, but it is not a confirmed accepted sales order yet, because you'll notice there is a light blue bar here, meaning this controls functionality differences within Driven. So if I move this past the first blue bar, if I change this to a confirmed sales order, that does a couple of things within Driven. It makes it a committed order, so it's going to allocate these quantities from my available stock. And it also now gives me the ability to apply payments to this order, because payments can be processed from within Driven, and begin shipping items if I would like to. So now this is a committed order from a customer, and you'll notice I can't go backwards from that. Okay, I can't make it a proposal again if it's already been a committed sales order. Okay, because like I said, that does allocate stock from inventory. All right. The next steps in the process are to move it to in processing or in shipping. And these are internal statuses for you guys to know what's going on with this order. In processing typically is you're creating purchase orders to fulfill this, or you're getting it ready, building product, something like that. And the in shipping step means it's moved on to the shipping department, and they're actually invoicing and shipping and printing tracking labels and that kind of information. Now, once an order has been fully processed, you're going to put it into the committed or in history phase. And that clears it off of your active sales order screens, says that everything has been finalized, and makes sure that everything has been fully invoiced over to QuickBooks. The sales rep, as we talked about, is the rep on the account, or the rep on this order. So I'm going to go ahead and change it back to me. If I tell that customer when it's going to ship, I can specify a ship date in here. I also have the ability to link what Driven calls a sales pipeline to this order. And that's one of our advanced sales management features, where a pipeline for us is used for sales forecasting. I want to predict that I have this revenue coming in potentially 3 months down the road. That would be a pipeline for us. Okay. This custom status feature is an option for you to use internally within your own business to be able to create a different status. If you have additional ordering steps or processing steps, maybe your business requires that you need to go on site and install things or actually produce product. So you could have a status called in production, or waiting for scheduling, or awaiting management approval if you have to get approval to send out a proposal with a certain discount or something. But that would allow you in this custom status to be able to identify that. And so I'm going to put this in as a new quote. When I save changes there, then when I am on my sales screen, so let's close this out of here. I can see its custom status here, by the way. You can have, let's add one more workspace for order processing. I will make it a 2-panel workspace. Let's do all active sales orders. So we'll do, I wanted to do sales order processing. All active sales orders here. And then I can see its custom status. So everybody who's looking at orders would be able to see, okay, that one is in a new quote status. Maybe you have ones in here that are, you mark as ready for shipping or something. You'd have the ability to do that as well. So I have these. Apparently I have some stock in here. I can fulfill some of this order here. Now, let's talk as well. I want to mention some other what we call inventory research features in here, and that is the ability without starting a proposal for you to look up some pricing and some availability information. Let's say a customer calls and asks if you have some interface kits in stock or how much your interface kits are or something like that. You can look that up at any time through the lookup menu using item research, and that will show you the details of everything. So I want to look at my interface kit. So right now, my interface kit is set as an inventory type item. Its price is $50. Its cost is $125. It's located in the cage on shelf A5, and I'm supposed to suggest some more coin boxes anytime I sell it. I have right now 2 on hand. So physically sitting out there on my warehouse shelves right now, I have 2. One of them is allocated on an order for an existing customer. So that one is reserved from stock, as I mentioned. So therefore, I have a net available after all orders have been fulfilled of 1. So I still have 1 currently that I can sell right now. Right. And in between that, the on order row that's here tells me how many are on a purchase order that haven't been received yet. So that's my pending coming in. So this gives me a lot of visibility of detail about this item. I can also look at that stock tab to see where that one is. So right now in my default warehouse, I have 1. In my California warehouse, I have 0. Okay. And obviously, I've been playing with this part of the database and updating things incorrectly, so that's why these numbers don't match the main numbers on the main page. Typically, they should, because they should show me that on my sales orders out of California, I have 2 committed on a sales order. Now, if I want to see who I've ever bought this from as a vendor, I can see that I had a PO number 3000 to Lowe's for this particular item costing $125, and I've received all 10 of those. So in that case where it had mentioned to me that I had, a quantity on order, I could see what vendor was on order to, how many of them had been received, and if it was filled in and driven, when I'm expected to receive those. My quote history on this particular part number shows everybody I've ever quoted this to, the prices I've quoted it to them at, and how much the costs were on those specific ones. How many, if any, of those have actually shipped. Okay. Now, then I have an order history. So these are my proposals that are out there pending. Okay, my order history is clients who have actually purchased this. Okay, and at what price they purchased it at, how many they ordered, and how many of those have actually shipped. So for instance, this Disney World item, they ordered 1. Well, none of them have been shipped yet. So this order has not been fulfilled yet. Okay. The registered product tab here in inventory research is going to show me if this is what is called a trackable item. If I'm told that I have to track a serial number on this particular piece of equipment, then anytime I receive this item or anytime I ship this item, I'm going to be asked to input the serial number of the item. And when it ships, it gets registered on that customer's account. So I know that Fidler Consulting owns serial number 23REY8 of the interface kit. Okay. My stock transfers tab, just to let you know, is because I do have 2 warehouses within Driven, I have the capability to transfer a product from one warehouse to another warehouse. to move it. And this would show me any what are called pending transfers, because just because I say it's going to California doesn't mean it's accepted and available for sale in the California warehouse yet. They have to receive it and finalize the transfer. And last detail of item research is to be able to see in this interface kit, how is it built? So that's my related configuration tab. So I can see, okay, this interface kit that I have one of, I'm going to see, maybe I need to build some more of it. So in order to build some more of it, it takes 2 of this coin box, 1 of this coin box, and 3 of these coin boxes. Well, I don't have enough stock of the parts inside of here to actually build those either. So it just kind of shows you a preview here of how many could be built based upon what I have here. Okay, and this is used primarily for QuickBooks' assembly feature. Similar to that, it also will show you if this was set up as a QuickBooks group, what the group items inside of this were. So you have the ability to see the detail of that as well. Now, as I mentioned, this is just strictly viewing this information here. So let's see here, my coin combo number 2s. What do I have of that? I think I have something that I have stock of where I have serialized stock of something. Oh, my black fabric. Okay. I do have different quantities in here. I think I might have fixed this one. At one point I had said that this was a serialized piece of equipment, so I would have been able to see how many of this item I have, what serial numbers I have available to me. Let me see if I still have any of them left over. Serial number tracking. Yeah, I do. So of this particular piece of fabric, I have in stock in my default warehouse right now 1 of serial number 234 and 1 of serial number 2746. Okay, so these would be available serial numbers sitting on my shelf available for sale. Okay. Not always something you worry about on the sales quoting side of things, but something that's, you know, accessible for you guys to be able to see visibility-wise. Okay. Any other questions so far about putting together a new quote or being able to process a quote, update a quote for a customer? Okay. And I didn't actually save that I had made this a confirmed sales order. That's why I didn't allocate any of my inventory there. So now if I were to go back and look at my inventory research screen, I'd see a lot more committed on a sales order. Now I have 2 allocated. Can't tell anymore. Okay. Any other questions then right now about putting together for, oh, I'd like to, we have a few extra minutes here, so let me go ahead and talk about one of the advanced options in putting together proposal and driven. So we'll actually start this from one of our other screens here, because another option, instead of pulling the customer up first, is to go to our Create New menu in the upper left-hand corner and say that you want to create a new proposal or sales order. So that can be accessed directly from the Driven main window if you would like. If you do it this way, the very first thing that you're going to be asked to do is find the customer account. So we'll go find Bill's Construction. There we go, Bill Jones again at Universal Studios. And we'll do repeat order. He's calling back, and he'd like to order the same items that he has ordered from me in the past. So I'm not going to mess with any of my options in here for right now. I'm going to leave them all alone. but in the bottom of that screen is a button that says More Options. And if I open that up, I have the opportunity to repeat one of this customer's previous orders. And if I select that, then I'm able to see all of his past orders with me. Or if I know the order number of any other customer who's placed an order in the past, I know I sent out proposal number 200019. I can type that order number in here and repeat that to any other customer. But if I choose to repeat this particular test quote system, then when I choose Save and Create up at the top here, so this is kind of a quicker way for you to do repeat orders or orders that you commonly place for different customers all the time. You notice I have an exact duplication of the order that I placed previously. Now, what does not happen is it does not retain the special discounting that I typed in. Okay, so it sends everything back to current retail price because that order may have been placed 6 months ago, 2 years ago, who knows how long ago it was. So it updates everything to the current retail pricing, but it adds all of those line items onto there for you. And then this quote can be modified from here. So I want to go delete that zero shipping and handling line item charge. I also don't need one of these coin boxes here, let's say. So I now have the flexibility to modify this proposal in any way that I would like to. Also, we did not talk in the other order about being able to add what we call a status note on this particular order. And status notes are used for you guys for internal notes or details about this particular proposal. So it's a way for you guys to communicate internally to say, please get payment up front. Okay. It is something that when I save this, it's going to save into here. Will show who added that note when they added it, but does not print out on templates that go to the customer, does not show to them in any way. So it's an internal note about this particular order that you guys see only. Okay. And then while we're here, let's go on the fly, add a quick item here. Add one of them. It's at the standard price, and I hit the quick add button. It's kind of a faster searching screen, one at a time kind of a search. So whichever way you prefer to look up items, through that inventory research screen or through this part number search screen right here. Okay, guys, that's really everything about our particular sales quoting tool. Any other questions? Okay. In that case, thanks for attending today's session, everybody, and have a great afternoon.